All right, welcome back to another WA preview. I was about to say Belmont preview, but after 1 week, we've been moved to the Pinjarra start side due to oncoming weather expected for Saturday. Um, north of 20 mils in the metro area, so they decided to send it to Pinjarra, which is going to have at least 23 mils prior to race number one.
Yeah, but
Um,
at least Pinjarra doesn't have a brand new section of turf that they're trying to protect. So I understand the decision. What I don't understand is moving Wednesday from back to Belmont when it's not going to be any drier. But you know, that's one bridge at a time.
Yeah, exactly. One bridge at a time. And the thing I couldn't understand is they knew they were going to do it, and they decided to send the notification out 3 hours after the Belmont markets went up.
Yeah, it's just a lack of they don't know. They probably just didn't even think of it, which is just shows their lack of care for us. But that's okay.
Yeah,
We're used to it.
we are as punters, we just bat on, keep eating punches. Rail's going to be true. They're saying it's a soft five. I imagine that will be significantly downgraded by race time,
Oh yeah,
which is
oh yeah.
12:59. So by 1 o'clock, we're
Should be
having a
wet.
look at it'll be wet. So horses, take your flippers. Hopefully, some of them got flippers for their birthday today. Happy birthday to all the
Happy
horses.
birthday to horses all across the land.
Yes, that's it. August 1st, new start of the season. Race number one. So yeah, like I mentioned, we're on the true. Any idea on how it's going to play? I was
No. My
more
my
probably
suspicion is could be like the last meeting where it was quite wet at Pinjarra on a Saturday, where the inside looked pretty good early and deteriorated. I reckon. I know Bar Time won early in the day leading, and I reckon Arcadia Night won the last coming down the centre. I think that would have been the same day, so
yeah, awesome. Race
wouldn't be
number
shocking.
one from what would have been a 2-year-old set weight and penalties yesterday. It's now the 3-year-olds. We have Radiant Light heading the market at 235. Hubble's Dragon 4, Cape Lewin 5, Split the G returning off a break at 6, and high double figures the tail. Take it away, Toby.
Look, I think Radiant Light makes a lot of sense as favourite. She was really good on debut from a long way back. Nearly got past Cape Lewin, who was on speed that day. Interesting with both of them. Cape Lewin backed up a week later and is now a month between runs, and Radiant Light was a month between runs and now backs up a week after last week, where she was again good behind King of Light, who looks a really nice horse.
Mm.
Um, just didn't really get a great flow into it and still hit the line nicely to beat the rest of those last week. Not 100% on the 14 back to 1200, but on what could be a pretty wet track, maybe it'll hold her in good stead on the backup. Yeah, so thought she made a lot of sense as favourite. Hubble's Dragon gets Pike, comes out of that Twisted Steel race, which is really held up. Trials for him, they were solid, sort of looked like he might be better over a bit further. So I think the step to 12 will help. Not sure where he gets to in the run from 7. They might chance their hand, but I really don't know. Split the G, trialled well enough, but not unless she's grown a bit. She sort of looked like an early style of 2-year-old, and I don't think barrier 10 makes it any easier.
Mm.
And Cape Lewin has sort of mixed his form a bit, but his run 2 starts ago would hold him in pretty good stead here. But yeah, just not sure if you can trust him or not.
Yeah, I just automatically went to Radiant Light. I think you have a look at its trial behind Twisted Steel, who's obviously got a fair share of ability. First up was massive odds, ran behind Medusa, closing into third. And then obviously ran into a very, very nice one in King of Light for Morton. Um, I don't think there's any of those caliber horses in this particular race. From three, I think Steve gets to sort of choose what he wants to do. Um, Only question that I would say is, how the Rommels in the wet. Do you have a sort of
I think they
feel on
go.
how
I
they
think
go?
they go
They good?
okay.
Yeah,
Noble Connection is one that comes to the top of my head. Has put in 2 really good wins his last 2 since he's found some wetter tracks. I think there's a couple of others as well.
yeah.
Get through it.
And so what one thing I was sort of in like questioning is the 14 back to 12, but I think by 12:59 p.m. I think the 1200's probably going to feel like they're racing on a 14 anyway.
Feel at least a lot closer to a 13, yeah.
Yeah. Um, Race number two is 58 plus handicap. The West Speed Platinum, it's over 1200. History won't care. 350. Cruise to victory. Four. Repeater coming off two wins to start the prep at 460. Kira Louis 750. Bondi Plunge 8 and double figures the rest.
Pretty little race. Couple of horses who tried their luck in sort of grads and stuff, coming back to a West Speed. Just really open. Cruise to victory was good behind Asphalt last start. From behind him up the fence, Asphalt's come out and won again at $1.30. Not particularly convincingly, but I think that was sort of the end of his prep. He looks a really nice horse at his best on the wet anyway. Repeaters come back absolutely airborne. Don't think they find the front here, which could make it harder. If that fence is good early, Cruise to victory might just get a really nice run, sort of lead us back. Depending how he jumps, Kira Louis or Bondi Plunge might look for that spot. Kira Louis scratched from a winnable race Wednesday to come here. First up run off a nice trial was good. Just sort of had to check off heels at a vital point in the race. Still hit the line okay. Divine Impact is the three now 4-year-old who sort of the fresh blood into these West Bs, which are for the 4-year-olds and up, but just sort of didn't really come back last prep, and I'm not 100% on her trials, but if she went how she looked like she was going to go sort of earlier in her career, she could easily win this.
Yeah.
Just not sure where she's at. And Mia
I think
Gusto,
I think Divine Impact's one of those horses that at this point at the moment is where you sort of want to see it do it first
yeah,
before you
yeah,
start going again.
yeah, just at least put in a really nice, encouraging run because 10
Yeah,
doesn't make it any easier.
no,
And Mia Gusto comes through a very strong race off the fibre that's already produced 3 winners.
yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, look, I obviously went to the horse that's gone back to back this prep. Repeater, bolted in, has pretty much bolted in both starts this
Yeah,
prep.
even last start, he bolted in last start.
Yeah, and look, 20 mils of rain at least. Universal rulers, we know that they're bred to swim, so gets the gets the track that it's probably looking for. Just barrier 11 just makes things a little bit sticky, and it's probably why we're seeing 460 rather than a bit shorter. If he was drawn a little bit kinder, I imagine we probably wouldn't get 460 about it.
I think that'd be pretty aggressive, though. I think he finds the OSL at worst.
Yeah, and it as early as it is in the day, getting to the middle part first might be sort of a blessing in disguise from the OSL. Second, your thoughts on Cruise to Victory, really good behind Asphalt. Asphalt, like you touched on, is on the rise, and I think that the Josh Christian yard, when they're on fire, they hold that form and they
Yep.
fly. So touching on that, it'd be interesting to see how
Sirota.
Sirota goes after it bolted in the fibre sand
I think he
yesterday.
just got a bit of a gift yesterday.
Yeah, well, I mean the fibre sand is it's a tricky one to sort of line up going back to the turf. Race number three is the 58 plus handicap over the 1200. We have Terratif, who returned first up for a victory over what was probably unsuitable over the 1,000. 235. GG Pops 440 returning off a break. Spectacular Park 8. Sunshine Tape 11 and high double figures the rest of them. Is this just sort of a put in
Picks
take out
herself a little
Terratif?
bit. I wouldn't go that far, but she really does pick herself. That win was really, really good. Like you say, over what looked a little bit unsuitable, sort of a 1,000 meter race, off a absolute bomb trial.
Mm,
But you know, she killed him and beat a nice field in the process. Does have to carry 3 extra kilos here on a wet track, but I think she gets through, proven she gets through the wet all right.
Yeah.
Barrier one, like I say, still might be okay at this point in the day. You'll know after the first two.
Yeah.
This will, if they're going to start getting to the outside, it probably won't be quite this early. So, um, yeah, and there's maybe some minor queries. She ends up three back the fence. There's sort of bits of speed throughout the line, but Pike, you can just trust him to
Yeah.
make the right decisions at the right time. And she's got a really nice turn of foot to get herself out of trouble. Of the rest, GG Pops is a nice horse. I've always thought she's a nice horse. 1200 first up maybe is a little bit short, especially the trial didn't look like she could go to a 14 first up if that's the way they wanted to go or that's the way the program fell, and maybe I would have been a bit more inclined. But at 1200 in a field with a bit of speed, thought it might not be her day. Real Deluxe, if she had drawn to get a soft run, I could have entertained. She was pretty good last start, sitting 3 and 4 wide, and then getting held up um, after sitting there without cover in the straight. Hit the line nice, drops weight with Chanel's claim. Chanel's riding really well at the minute.
Yeah.
Treble on Wednesday tells you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
What do you?
Territif really picks herself.
Yeah. Real Deluxe first time 1200.
Yeah, but a few of those are getting a bit further. Like Clean them up went close at 1275 on the fiver, and then won at 1200 on Wednesday. So with 54, I wouldn't. Like I said, I probably would have wanted her to get a bit softer run to
Yeah.
be thinking about backing her
And GG Pops blinkers on. Bit of
back on.
sign of
Yeah, they
intent.
only came
Yeah.
off. They only came off for the one start.
Yeah.
So
And that was the 1,000 guineas, was it?
yeah, probably just
Yeah.
to try and get her to settle. So I
Yeah.
think they've given up on that dream.
Yeah, for me, it's Terratif on top. It's just, yeah, there's question marks on sort of like, do you want to take 235 about a horse that's going to sit three back the fence?
Not right
On
now. Not
not
right
right
this
now,
second.
and especially on a track where we've already touched on it enough, we really don't know what it's going to do.
Mm.
So there's
Even if it is going to do one thing early, how many races in is it going to change if it changes? So
yeah, exactly, because what they're forecast to get, I think the rain's pretty much all day.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna be
They're
bleak.
going to chop up that inside at some point if it's even good early.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun on track.
Oh yeah.
Um, Race number 4 is the Jockey Celebration Day Stakes over 1400. We have Sessional at 360, Vast Art 440, Lord Gannicus 480, Sisu Warrior 550, Multinational 750, Investment Strategy 750, and High Double Figures the other three.
Be another interesting race in terms of what the track's doing at that point with your favourite drawn one, Pike again. Trial was good enough without race day blinkers, which I think been the key to him. First up, last prep, he was beaten in a class. Oh, was that the class one prep still? Did he have a long prep? Oh no, last prep was the 6 horse field where he went close, but was still beaten in a weaker race than this. But he's come on in leaps and bounds since then. Could be a matter of what the track's doing.
Yeah, it's another
Fast
one that's
start
drawn
was
one for Pike.
Yeah. And again, you can trust Pike to make the right
Yeah,
decisions, but you're going to have to beat a nicer field. Like Vast Start, as one of Hannon's, was really good first up behind Wind and the Lion. Better suited to 14, better suited to
yeah,
Scarp side. Probably appreciates the wet a bit. Just has to go right up in weight, get a bit further back again. Sisu Warrior, interesting whether after Clint chose to ride against Fast Start, whether he's just not been given the option here or whether he's chosen Sisu Warrior. I'm not sure. Based on the way they spoke to him Wednesday, he might have chosen Sisu Warrior. I think he was pretty happy with the performance last start when he got held up quite badly in a weaker race than this, but drops the 6.5 kilos down to the minimum, or
yeah,
6 kilos rather. He's right near the minimum. Lord Gannicus, a little bit short for mine, off getting a bit of a gift last start. Not sure if he gets that again, where the leaders just got to get away from them. I think
yeah,
he's, just a little bit short compared to some of these.
yeah. Yeah, look, I went the way of Vast Art. I thought the run behind Wind and the Line first up on a wet track was super. He was taking ground off Win the Line, obviously at Bunbury there, and yeah, he was wide throughout that race as well. So I'd take nothing away from him. That was Sean O'Donnell first time. Sean O'Donnell sticks. I think he goes one better this time. I think, and this is purely from the fact that I'm sort of hoping Sensational gets a little bit strung up and Varsart can maybe pinch the first move.
Pinch a bit of
Um,
momentum.
yeah, exactly, and then start just get rolling into the bend and sort of let down. Hopefully, takes natural improvement from that run, and from there makes a sessional work for it first up. Race number 5, first leg of the quaddy. We have a 66 plus over the 1400. We've got a Truca 420 on patrol $5, Kelvinator $6, Little Silver 6, Excel Train 650, Autumn Rebel 750, and double figures of the rest. They really do not make the first leg of the quaddies easy for us.
No, they do not. We have Petrushka first up off a couple of plane trials as your favourite, but she's trialled plane her last two preps and put in really good runs. Probably a little bit of a concern that both of those preps have only had the one run each. She's got some issues, but they've still been good. So if you can get the one good run out of her, she can win. Again, Pike drawn nearish to the inside. This one, if the fence is bad, I think he'll do his best to not get strung up against it. So I don't think you have too many worries there, considering you have Pike on your side. Autumn Rebel comes back as a gelding. Um, Looked like being a really nice horse. Does the gelding operation finally get the best out of him? His trials also looked a bit plain, but I just don't think he's ever going to show his best over 950 metres. Little Silver flying, but think he's destined to be three wide or a long way back. Maybe some chance of slotting in 1-1 if they come out looking for it and XL Train and Kelvinator have a little dip at each other early, but I don't think you want to be backing him at $6.50 banking on that. On patrol, $5. Look, he's going really well, gets some nice weight relief, but he's not the most um, trustworthy conveyance in a winning sense. Tends to find one better a lot. So, and this is a much stronger field. And then you've got XL Train and Kelvinator, who their best is both good enough, but are they going to attack each other? Is it going to be an advantage to be that close at this point in the day? Yeah, a few more questions than answers. Watching the first four, hopefully we'll answer a few of those.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I gave a little chance to Little Silver. I think Tash is obviously, yeah, Tash's season last season was superb. You know, Tash on is almost one of the better gear changes from last season, and you know she's got the best out of this gelding this prep. Obviously ran second to Timeless Gem, who's smart enough in its own right, and then just went too good for him last start. I don't see why it won't continue to run well. It is a sticky map, and you know probably every chance of being caught deep trip, no cover.
Might not be the worst at this point in the day. You just never
But
know.
you're yeah, exactly right. It could be a blessing in disguise. So I gave a little chance to Little Silver. It's not a race I want to get overly involved in, especially when you've got a trooper and on patrol. They're heading up the market. Um, Quaddy numbers
Uh,
field.
it's not the worst idea. I think I might leave quaddy numbers this week and just do it in the room at
Yeah,
race time.
yeah, that sounds
Um,
perfect. I can guarantee number 6 will be going in mine though.
yep. Yeah, you can go in.
Um, Race number 6 is the Unite Resourcing Handicap. 66 plus 2200 doesn't get any easier. Mansell Magic $4, Kisses from Kelly 5, Snazzler 650, Done with the Blues 7, Cosmic Chaos 9, Alaskan 950, and double figures the long tail.
You say that, but I do think this race has a very long tail.
Incredibly long tail. That being said, I have no opinion. It's 2200 meters and it's a bog track. You
Yeah.
can't even stand these staying races on a dry. So
I can understand the early market support that came for Man's All Magic, although all those bets are refunded now. He was good last start on the heavy, gets pike, gets out to a trip third up, but now he's favourite. You don't know what the track will be doing. Kisses from Kelly backs up really well, 3 times for 2 wins, and was good against the pattern last week. Snazzler was a great ride last week. Every chance you can maybe pull something similar, whether it's doing the same thing or just pull something out the bag again. Done with the Blues, probably the one I'd look to take on, losing Pike for an apprentice in a staying race on a wet track. But I think the early market's done that as well. I think if you kept Pike on, she would probably be near favourite, to be fair. And Cosmic Chaos loses Lucy, but some of his performances last prep would see him win this. And we absolutely cannot neglect Gradius Dio, who swims.
Yeah,
Gradius Dio
absolutely.
will go in quad.
Yeah. Yeah, no opinion from me. Who would have thought? Race number 7 is the congratulations, William Pike, leading jockey of 24-25. Shock. 72 plus handicap, 1200 meters. We got friend of the show, Smooth Mover,
Uh,
$1.90. Vuven Gold, 850,
he's not that good
and
a friend.
the rest of them are double figures.
He trolled up a lot, sort of. He's done a few little things not wrong. He doesn't look the finished product. I think he looked closer to a finished product in the recent trial.
Yeah,
Um, Match motors with some of the boss who was pushed out a little bit more. Bachula was pretty good back in third after sitting wide for portions, but she gets a shocker map here, and I just don't know that the apprentice is going to get any more out of her.
yeah,
If they're winning down the center at this point, and they've gotten maybe more rain than is forecast, and it gets close to a 9 or a 10. Desert Nymph will
yeah,
go very close because she
absolutely.
properly swims.
Yeah. That
She
that
bolted in
last
that day
prep,
at Belmont last year when it was a heavy 15.
yeah, and that was in front of one of the best named horses. Um, yeah, Darty. No,
Udati.
two Darty. That's right. Yeah, and she strung a couple of wins together in that prep as
Mm,
well. Then ran third um, over 14, and then returned again and won again 2 weeks
yeah,
later. So yeah, she is an absolute swimmer.
she was
She,
solid first up over 1,000 meters
she
as
was,
well.
yeah. She was just obviously beaten by a Marty Girl who the stable have a fair opinion of. And it's it's a good enough horse. I think stepping to the 12 is no concern for it. For me, I had Smooth Mover on top. I think the horse, you know, we talk about hype. The horse was spoken in quokka terms at one point.
Yeah,
Obviously didn't reach those heights that last prep, but look, comes back. What's William Pike's line on Saturday for winners?
that's a good point.
Because he's on at least already 6 of the 7 favorites,
What's he on in the
5 of the 7.
Does he not have a ride in the last?
Oh,
Doesn't even have a ride in the last.
East
How are
Coast
we going to
punters will
get
be.
out?
I was about to say East Coast punters will be up in arms.
Yeah, he's on a lot of favourites
Yeah,
and some short ones too.
yeah. I think this will probably be his best. I think the horse, like I mentioned, the horse has the ability. Trial was awesome. Ruben Gold. I mean, it's
Her
at the
run last
point
start
now.
was enormous, but I'm just not sure. She just doesn't produce the same thing every start.
No, she doesn't. That being said, she's 6 from 14. She's unbeaten on wet track.
Mm.
And I think there's no reason to discount her. I
I
had
just
Smooth
think
Mover.
conceding 4.5 to a horse like Schmoove
Yeah,
Move is hard work.
it is hard. It is definitely hard, and it's the acid test at the moment. I had it second pick, and then I had other one Sun in there. I thought it trialed up nicely. Obviously, Pike hops on Smooth Mover. He rode other one son in the trial. Clint, to be fair, is no big negative by any means.
No.
Clint's obviously riding in probably career best form, and has been for some months. And then I had Desert Nymphs in for fourth. Um, Petula, I don't know what to do with Petula at this point.
I liked that trial, but I would have rather see her in a like a listed sprint where she
look,
carries little weight.
the trial was good, but she also trialed
Mm,
really well previous prep and then flopped behind Sinful Living.
yeah.
Um,
And then went really good the next start behind West Star.
exactly, yeah, like the West Star form
Happy to watch her here,
screams.
definitely,
It
in the
absolutely
rather
it'll
than
be
get
one to
involved.
watch. And I think like you mentioned, Chanel takes a bit of weight relief, but from the wide alley, I think it's probably not. It's not a today bet anyway.
Nah.
Um, and to close out the meeting and the quaddie, we have congratulations, Luke Campbell leading apprentice for 24-25 over the mile. Uncle Gerard 440, Showlass 480, Gage Road 650, Outspoken Lad 8, and double figures the rest.
To close out the day, we have a raffle where Uncle Jared is favourite. Understandably so. He got backed into favourite last start and was really good in the worst part of the track. But he just finds ways to get beat.
Yep.
And look, footless. 40-20 isn't too short, really, considering this is probably represents a drop in grade. Um, he's going really well. If they're winning down the centre, that's even more advantage to him. But it's not the kind of horse I'd want to have my last on, unless it was for a place. Show Lass dropped back in trip last start after probably just not staying in those features. Was really good in the Belmont Guineas, and then she was maybe a little bit disappointing last start. They were sort of leading, going well, and she got to walk around, sprinted up at the right time, and still got run down. Uh, Out to a mile with Tash getting on, leads again. If they're still leading at this point, she could pinch it.
Yeah. I think this is
Outspoke.
the thing with Showlass is like we see it so often where the pattern emerges. It takes maybe a race or two for the jockey's room to figure it out. This could be a race where it just gets overdone and Sholas just gets left in front with
Or it
all the
could be like
horses.
when she won first up and they overdo it and where they're coming down the center and she gets left alone in front and rolls
Exactly.
up the outside and beats them anyway.
Yep.
If
And
it gets to that
and
point.
I truly think, like if it plays out the way it's sort of anticipating it will with the deteriorating track, I wouldn't be shocked if she can pinch it at a mile, despite that probably she'll tiptoe late. But yeah, I've got to give a big chance to Showlass, especially when you've got Uncle Jared favourite, who's going to be last-ish probably, and trying to cut
Yeah,
down the
close
margin.
to it.
Yeah,
I did like Outspoken Lad is building up nicely. He's won twice, third up before. Last start was pretty good when he was in between them, and then just kept plugging to the line late to run third. Sort of looked like he might run sixth, seventh at one point.
mm,
Probably goes and parks up outside Showlass, and they're coming wider. It becomes advantage. Outspoken Lad, and Kenny Jack is another one who swims and has gone a lot better his last two on those really wet tracks, but he's a pretty hard horse to trust.
yeah, not wrong. Um,
Looked to have it shot to bits last start and just got ground out of it.
yeah, but could Kenny Jack do an our Archibald?
Team might be back in form.
Could be. Um, yeah, look, that wraps up the program. Best of the day for me. Look, I'm I'm pretty happy to be with Radiant Light and Schmoove Mover, but yeah, I think they sort of picked themselves. I think from one that's probably not going to be too popular, but hopefully it is. Bastard, I'll put on top as the best bet of the day in race 4. You'll be on track, unfortunately, for yourself. It'll be cold, it'll be wet.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll wear a singlet, maybe two jumpers. I'll be warm.
Mounting Yard Mail, are your prices out yet? They
Nah,
will be going
working
out.
on it. They'll be
Perfect.
out later today.
Awesome. And no doubt you'll throw into the channel some real Nav mail for
Mm,
today.
God willing, God willing.
Thank you very much, Toby. As always, nice little catch up, our weekly little catch ups.
Just happy to be here, mate.
Yeah, likewise. And yeah, to everyone looking at wanting to have a bet on Saturday, just keep in mind that we are going to cop an absolute downpour.
Oh
So
yeah.
keep it in mind. But that's all for us. Thank you very much. And yeah, don't forget to join up into the chat room for mail all through the week. Toby's Prices, Mount Yard Mail as well on race day. And then Sunday from Kalgoorlie, is it?
Kalgoorlie and Port Helen Cup Day.
Oh God, you've got to be Toby.
Tams.
Awesome. Thanks, Toby.
Thanks, Kev.